In a state known for its simple, natural beauty, it's one curiously unique architectural structure that stands alone in the Palouse. The P1 FCU-Kibbie Dome dwarfs everything around Moscow and the University of Idaho campus. One of the noisiest venues in the country gets even louder on a playoff Saturday night in the Northwest. You're watching the second round of the FCS playoffs on ESPN. Two red-hot teams, two teams opposite parts of the country. They get ready to collide. Idaho out of the Big Sky. Lehigh, winners of 6 straight, emerge from the Patriot. So as far as the seeds go on this busy day of football, all top 7 seeds have advanced. Will that hold true to form? Will it be Idaho or Lehigh making the trip to Bozeman next week and a date with Montana State? And a pleasant good evening. Sean Kenny alongside Michigan national champion Marcus Ray. So great to have you with us. Marcus, one of the biggest turnarounds in college football happened this year on the South Mountain. You go across the country, Bethlehem, PA. Man, did Lehigh ever flip the script from a 2-9 season a year ago? And they've done it with improved play on defense, in particular the inside with TJ Burke.
Well, if you're going to win a championship, it starts with the defense, and everything starts up front. Look at that young man's numbers. He's a run stopper. He's one of the main reasons that they held Richmond at 96 yards in the second half without 3 other starters. The other thing that TJ did, he got to the quarterback, he stopped the run, and when you look at the numbers, look at the situational football, Sean. They dominated in the red zone on defense, and they also dominated on 4th down, and it started with number 0.
Defense has also been a strength on the opposite sideline for Idaho. It's interesting, the youngest unit on this side of the football is the linebacking core, yet they have played like veterans, including Jackson Eck.
The coach's son. He's productive. He's disruptive. You see the numbers, 110 tackles. He leads this defense at 6'1", 225 pounds. He can run, he hits, covers, and he blitzes, Sean. So get ready for a good one.
Idaho won the toss. They elected to defer. Jaden Green, the true freshman, and the final game of the second round of the FCS playoffs underway. 9 o'clock Eastern, back home for the Mountain Hawk fans as they stay up late to see if this remarkable story can continue. Hayden Johnson, the true freshman quarterback out of Lancaster, Pennsylvania, ready to guide this offense. Johnson was just 11 years old when Lehigh last made the playoffs. He's playing his best football late. You see what he's done over the last 3 games. On fire, completing close to 77% of his passes. The Mountain Hawks from the 25. On 1st down, this will be Yoder getting to the outside, down the sideline, past midfield. Finally escorted out of bounds by Dwayne McDougal. But a big run by Yoder and some of that power.
Oh, yeah, they just run a power play. I mean, they lined up with the H-back to the right side. He pulls to the weak side, and I'll tell you what, this team runs the football as well as anyone in the country. You talk about 4 consecutive 200-yard games, and this young man, Yoder, he's putting up big numbers, and he splits carries with Jaden Green, number 0.
28 yards for Yoder. Second-team All-Patriot selection, and just like that, in the plus territory. Johnson pressure, dodges, and now this is what he can do. Very good scrambler, something that Lehigh did not have the luxury of a season ago.
Well, the thing I like is that he went through his progressions. Nothing was there. Good coverage there by the Vandals. But then this young man uses his legs well in space and got a positive play on 1st down. You don't want young quarterbacks or any quarterback forcing those kind of throws, and that was a successful play.
Johnson has showed remarkable poise since he took over the full-time starting job late in the year. Just his 4th career start tonight. What an environment here in Moscow. 2nd down and 6 over that right guard, and not much, a yard or 2. It's tough to run inside with this Idaho defense, but this duo has been able to get the yardage all season. The true freshman, Jaden Green, all the way from San Francisco, California, and then Yoder, the sophomore.
Yeah, ground and pound, thunder and lightning, however you want to mix it up. when you got two running backs that can complement each other with those type of numbers, 5.5, 6 yards a carry with 10 touchdowns a pop. That's why they're here along with that great defense.
Gotta believe this might be 4-down territory. Lehigh's been really good on third downs this year, 48%. Third down and 4. Four-man rush and the pass offline. He was looking for Galetta. Coverage by Andrew Marshall.
That time they tried to run all hitches. Just a 5-yard stop route. It's not very good there. You have to keep moving in space. Not a lot of grass in that area, so the Vandals were expecting that route. They sat on everything. They came up with a big third down stop.
So Kevin Cahill wants to play the field position game early. He sends out the true freshman punter, Connor Poole. Andrew Marshall standing inside his 10 for Idaho. One of the top punt returners in the country. Poole with the kick, and Marshall wisely will let this one take its course into the end zone for the touchback. A Vandal offense that certainly got healthy with the bye week last week. Jack Lane, the opening day starter, was banged up in their week 1 loss in Eugene at Oregon. He's actually been hurt on a couple of occasions, but he's fully healthy late in the year. And like his counterpart Johnson, he has been tearing it up of late. The redshirt sophomore out of Oregon. You see the numbers, not quite to 1,000 passing yards just because he's missed a lot of time with the collarbone injury. Lane's going to throw on first down, open downfield. The catch is made up to the 46-yard line. It's the top receiver for the Vandals, Jordan Dwyer.
And you can see here the Vandals, they're going to go tempo here, but one of the things Coach Eck wanted to do was attack the intermediate area, and you saw it in that flood pattern.
Breakout season for Dwyer, and now a healthy Deshaun Buchanan back in uniform. We talked about the bye week aiding some of the health, especially in the backfield. They get Buchanan back tonight. Eli Cummings also expected to see some time.
Yeah, the thing is, Lehigh's down 2 all-conference linebackers, Mike DiNucci, Ahoyski, Matt Spatney as well.
You mentioned the tempo, Marcus. This is something new for Idaho. They normally don't play the tempo game, but they wanted to set the tone early.
Yeah, and one of the reasons that they're going to go fast is to keep the defense on their heels, but they also know that if Lehigh gets rolling, they will milk that clock and try to ball control.
Lane goes empty on 2nd and 10 from the Mountain Hawk 44-yard line. Pressure up the middle, he'll throw, and underneath it's caught near the first down marker, struggling ahead. Up to the 36 goes Mark Hamper, tackled by Edwards and Adderley.
Well, you see Idaho really trying to attack that underneath coverage. Lehigh plays a soft zone. It's not bend but don't break. They just don't want to let you throw the ball over their head. As you see Coach Eck right there. We had a great conversation with him. He was very excited about this matchup in his 3rd season.
Yeah, we had a chance to sit down with him late last night after they went through their walkthrough here inside the Kibbie Dome. Good hole opens up, and hitting that hole hard is Buchanan. He'll move the sticks. Mason Moore, the transfer from Miami, in on the stop.
That's that mid-zone play that Coach Eck really likes to run. When I say mid-zone, all the linemen are in concert one way, and the running back just picks his hole right in the middle. Outside zone, Sean, is when they're trying to get outside the tackles. But that mid-zone, it can hit anywhere in between that inside and outside.
When Buchanan has been healthy, he has been lethal. All of his damage, the 430 rushing yards, coming in 5 games this year. Play fake, looked like Lane wanted to go deep instead, settles underneath. It's the massive tight end, Mike Martinez, and Idaho cooking on all cylinders on this opening drive.
Yeah, that's a lone senior, but that's just a tight end delay. Martinez did a great job of selling the run fake, and he blocked, and he got to the sweet spot of the defense after everyone had cleared and vacated that area. That's a good play call, good execution.
8 more yards on the completion to Martinez, his 10th catch of the year, the transfer from UCLA, who was away from football for a couple of full years. His last action was 2021 for the Bruins. 2nd down and 2, trying to bounce it outside, now looking for that change of direction and running into a pile up front nothing but Mountain Hawks, headlined by Jaden Nelson, who's back healthy this week.
Oh, that's a great job there of just filling the run, having some gap integrity. I was really surprised that Buchanan tried to bounce that instead of getting what he could get, but it started with our guy, T.J. Burke. He wrapped around to that A gap in between the guard and center, and it messed up the blocking scheme.
Because of the injuries up front with Spatney, Ohoyski, we're going to see a little bit more depth utilized tonight by Lehigh. 3rd down and 4, slow developing play, and Buchanan has stood up. And a decision early for Idaho. One of those young freshmen, Lorenzo Portella, wrapping up Buchanan. And now let's see what Jason Eck wants to do.
Well, as you see here, you just get a split zone play, but you see the penetration by all the white shirts from Lehigh. And I tell you what, it's, you know, I would go for it too. Being at home, deep in their territory, you're not playing for field goals in the FCS second round. You need touchdowns in the red zone.
Vandals have struggled on 4th down this year. 3-back set, they will hand it off. Buchanan looking, pushing the pile, and a 1st down as they cross inside the red zone.
I like the play call there. It's just simply, just went power football. You know, you get a full house backfield. You run behind the left side of that line, Henson and Foster and those guys. Then now this is called that old tush push. You know, it's hot in the streets right now as far as what they call it. And that's why, because you just want to get that extra push, especially when you need those yards. Coach Eck, that former Wisconsin lineman.
Yeah, he was a walk-on for the Badgers. His walk-on's a special place in his heart. They hand it off again. The patience just darting through a little bit of a crevice. Deshaun Buchanan, it's that second line making the tackles. A lot of secondary personnel with Adderley and Moore.
Yeah, you see, this is a power play. I mean, when you start seeing guards wrap around the backside linebackers, that was 52, Keegan Henson, 6'5". He's light on his feet.
Now they try to stretch it wide. Buchanan gets popped inside the 10. And Idaho will have it 1st and goal, an impressive opening drive as they have marched it down the field, blending both the run and the pass.
And I think they're trying to establish that they want to win up front. You know, Coach Eck told us that he thinks they have to get off to a fast start. They have to win up front. And the one way you do that is to run the football and make this a tough man contest early.
Busy opening drive for Buchanan. He flanks Lane to his left. It's Hamper in motion. Handoff up the middle. And Buchanan picks up 2 hard-fought yards. Beltekian in on the stop along with Joyner.
Beltekian, he's a big-time safety, first-team all-conference guy. He was down in the box. And when you start getting that red zone goal line areas, not a lot of grass behind you, Sean, so those safeties have to get in the box and like linebackers and make plays.
13th play of this opening drive for Idaho. They go pistol set. Alex Moore, the H-back. Again, Hamper in motion. Looking for that loft back of the end zone. They were looking for more. Good coverage that time, though, by the safety, Andrew Worthy.
That play normally works, but watch Worthy. He has what's called great eye discipline. See, most of these guys look in the backfield, Sean, that's where you get to play action down on the goal line. But that time, when you keep your eyes on your man, it's called man-to-man for a reason. Just like I'm checking you right now, brother. You go, I go.
Worthy, triumphant story coming back from a season-ending injury a season ago. 3rd down and goal. Lehigh brings 4, back of the end zone, going up, high pointed it, Dwyer, and he gets a foot down. Touchdown, Idaho.
You want to talk about a good throw and catch and a big-time wide receiver. You're talking about Jordan Dwyer. Watch, Lane just puts it up. The back of the end zone in the corner. I'll tell you what, Worthy made a great play to play before, but that time he fell down. He just got caught, feet got caught up under him on the turf and wasn't able to make a play.
Point after is up, and it's no good. A miss by Cameron Pope.
Timeout on the field.
Jordan Dwyer, the only player in the two deep tonight for Idaho that had a stat from last year's quarterfinal game. Impressive start here inside the Kibbie Dome for Idaho as they take their opening drive. 80 yards, 15 plays, a little more than 6 minutes off the clock. The beautiful throw. Lane Dwyer, that's been a common occurrence this year for Vandal Nation, and this is the exact type of start that Jason Eck was hoping for when he talked to us last night.
Definitely, and they established a run. They were able to play situational football and convert a fourth down and then score a touchdown in the red zone, something Lehigh was successful with defensively last week versus Richmond.
Jaden Green awaiting the kick. Owen Adams with the approach. This will be a touchback. So Lehigh ready to go back to work. Their second offensive series of the night. Down an early hole here in the Northwest.
Okay, we set the tempo, we take it to them, we don't ease into shit, okay? Fight, 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 or it'll last another week together, okay? I love you guys, I believe in this team, I believe in this team, let's go do this, earn another week, okay? Believe it, I will.
Jason Eck knows how to fire up a team in the month of December. 3 years here in Idaho, 3 consecutive playoffs. This actually marks the 9th consecutive year that he has been coaching a playoff team. You go back to his assistant coaching days at South Dakota State, and what a job he's done really reestablishing Idaho as a power, a consistent power in the Big Sky.
Exactly, and if he gets this double-digit win, it'll be the 3rd time in school history. But he's really come in and reestablished the culture, that winning ways, and they expect to win. They play hard, fast, and tough brand of football.
One of the areas that he is starting to win once again for Idaho is winning the local talent. As coming out throwing is Johnson, Mason Humphrey with his first catch. But he talked about it, Marcus. His first year, they have 1 Idaho native on the roster, but that has obviously expanded over the last couple of years. There is Kevin Cahill, the 46-year-old out of New York Mills, New York. He replaced Tom Gilmore, hired back in December of 22, and all he's done this year is guide one of the biggest turnarounds in all of college football.
Oh, that speaks for itself. You talk about going from 2-9 to 9-3. I mean, that's just amazing, and it also helps with recruiting. He also brought in the right coaches too. I mean, whenever you win, it's collectively that coaches and players alike, but to change that brand of football is amazing.
It is an A-Sun WAC crew tonight. The white hat is JT Tate, Jeremy Tate. Not sure what that discussion was about, but the catch stands by Humphrey. Staying on schedule. You'll hear that a lot tonight for Lehigh, who wants to use a lot of that clock. Second down, Johnson will keep it, slices ahead, good surge and a first down up to the 45, a gain of 12.
I tell you what, they were setting this play up. This just inside zone read. You let the defensive tackle go, triple option football, and right there, that was a great read there by Hayden Johnson. And you're going to see more of that. A lot of times you see they let the defensive end go, but when they start letting them interior tackles go, they're trying to hit it right down the hash.
Young man that showed a lot last week, rallying the troops. Yoder for a yard, Jackson Eck. First one to greet him, the first team all Big Sky linebacker, and what a season it's been for the coach's son, over 100 tackles this year.
Yeah, he had some help there from Isaiah King. I mean, they really supported the run. It looked like it was getting ready to hit and get creased. But old Jackson got in there and made a play. You can see the numbers. He's productive and disruptive.
4 consecutive games, he's registered double-digit tackles. Second down and 9. They swing it out near side, trying to get Jaden Green in space, but Zach Johnson, one of those young linebackers. Idaho knew they had an experienced defensive line. They filled some holes in the secondary, but boy, these two young linebackers have excelled.
Yeah, this was kind of a check down swing pass, but Zach Johnson showed you that he can play in space. This young man was a former basketball player in high school, so he has that good lateral movement like you used to, Sean.
That was never existent in my arsenal, unfortunately. Now, Johnson was part of the state championship basketball team. He was the only non-Division I basketball player on that roster. Everybody else ended up going D1. Third down and 13. They'll take a shot, looking for Humphrey. Has a step, but he overshot him. Coverage by KJ Trujillo, and for the second time, Lehigh will send out the punting unit.
I like the call there, and I think they're going to come back to that. Good coverage, but I think Humphrey had a step. If Hayden Johnson keeps that in bounds and allows Mason Humphrey to fight for it, or at least go up for it, they either could have got pass interference or possibly a catch there, because he did have a step on him. Nevertheless, good stop there by the Vandals.
Connor Poole on the punt for the second time. Marshall awaits. He stands at his 20. High, towering kick. Marshall with the fair catch. Terrific job by Connor Poole. 48-yard punt. Idaho goes back to work when we come back. It was a nice balance of throwing and running the football on Idaho's opening drive. Jack Lane, 4 of 5. This one to the big tight end Martinez, and then a steady dose of Deshaun Buchanan.
Well, one of the things you want to do offensively is to have run and pass, keep the defense off balance. They were able to throw that fade ball up in the end zone. See the young man Dwyer making the play. So we'll see if they maintain that type of balance. They also used some tempo in that last drive as well.
Let's see what adjustments Lehigh makes defensively from the 10-yard line. Late hole opens up out past the 15. Still working hard to the 17-yard line. Gain of 7. Buchanan already 10 carries in this first quarter.
Tell you what, that was good patience here. Watch Buchanan allow the pull to come, patience, and then get that foot in the ground and go right north and south there. That was Mason Moore there making a play. The safety sticking his face in the fan, as they call it. But I'll tell you what, that was a good patient run, allowing his offensive linemen to create those run lanes.
Both these quarterbacks making their playoff debut tonight. Lane in control of this offense on 2nd down and 3. Pressure, and he is swallowed up by T.J. Burke. That is a Pennsylvania greeting.
The Delaware native, the big fella. We opened up the show talking about him, and you see why. The athleticism, the explosiveness. Watch what he does right in the middle of your screen. Fights off a double team. Beats his man and gets upfield. You just don't see nose tackles getting sacks. His 7th one on the year, but man, did he fight off a double team and then get that foot in the ground and get downfield. Great play for the big fella.
That is a strong human being right there. 7th sack of the season. 3rd down over the middle. Dwyer makes the sliding catch up to the 30-yard line, a pickup of 19.
You give Lane this much time, he's going to find a man. That's called a dagger route, where the inside receiver runs a clear, just runs down the hash, and the outside receiver runs an inward breaking route. As you see, gets on the ground to avoid that contact, holding on, and 1st down, my friend. Good call, good execution.
See that linebacker on the underneath part of that coverage. William Parton, keep in mind, he's in there for Mike Danucci, who broke his ankle a couple of weeks ago. Stood up at the line of scrimmage on 1st down. Dylan Sheehan from his defensive end position. Bryson Edwards also there. Edwards, the junior from Fredericksburg, Virginia. He's the rally guy. You know, last week when they lost their stars, Tyler Ohoyski, and they lost Matt Spatney, coach relied on Edwards to be the guy that lit the spark, and you see the injuries and the toll that it has taken on this defense late. That's a combined 153 tackles, 20 sacks, and 26 TFLs with that trio of players.
And it was next man up. I mean, you're just not the same defense when you lose that type of talent, to all-conference guys. But when you fit the run like this on second down, just watch. Sometimes it's scheme, and you see Burke again. Burke is winning that battle between he and Leighton Vining, the center. Sophomore's having a hard time blocking this young man. And in that three-man front, they're going to have to double-team him, or if not, he's going to gobble up blockers, Sean.
T.J. Burke all fired up. A quick-moving first quarter from Moscow. Always a fun environment here inside the Kibbie Dome. Burke with an early sack. Cahill trying to keep this story rolling for Lehigh. Dwyer, the touchdown catch for the Vandals. Idaho up 6. Not only playoff football time here at the University of Idaho, but also commencement ceremonies earlier this morning at the Idaho Central Credit Union. 5 of the 9 Idaho graduates walked in the ceremony. Malachi Williams, Keyshawn James Newby, Cam Stevens, KJ Trujillo, and there's Logan Harris. They all had a chance to talk to their coach, Jason Eck, who was on hand for the ceremonies this morning. A special day capped off with playoff football here tonight. Third down, dangerous throw, and it's nearly intercepted. Dwyer became the defender as Jordan Adderley nearly had the game's first takeaway.
Wow, dangerous throw. He sat on that route right at the sticks. Lane locked on to, you just can't look and then throw a floater. That was a great job by Dwyer becoming the defensive back, preventing the turnover. He became the defensive back, as you see the young fella shooken up a little bit, Jordan Adderley.
Adderley moving from that overhang position to cornerback this year. Left-footed punter gets it away. LJ Harm, and this one will take a Lehigh bounce. A fortuitous row bounce for the Mountain Hawks. And a punt of only 24 yards, an excellent starting position for this Lehigh offense.
You know, one of the things Coach Eck told us is that when you're the favorite, you don't want the underdog to hang around too long. And that's what Lehigh did a week ago when they upset Richmond. And I'm not saying that's what's going on now, but you just have to understand eventually Coach Cahill is going to put together a drive. And I think this may be the one with the best starting field position he's had in this first half.
Bring a blitz off the edge. New quarterback in there is Matt Mahalik. They like to use him on running situations like Johnson, a true freshman from Palmerton, PA.
Yeah, they like to put him in certain situations and certain packages. You know, just trying to establish a little quarterback run there. Hayden Johnson can run it, but you don't want him to be your primary Q run, ground and pound the entire game. But they do get a little predictable when Matt's in the game.
Second down, Johnson feeling the pressure, will tuck it up and run, and a good open field tackle is made by Eck. Johnson up near midfield, and there's an injured Mountain Hawk down, and that's one of the offensive linemen.
Injury timeout to an offensive player.
That's their center, and this is the player they can ill afford to lose. Their best lineman, George Patizan, first team All-Patriot player this season, and really the quarterback up front.
Timeout on the field.
Concerns for Lehigh as they work on the fifth-year senior. Boy, these injuries just continue to bite Lehigh. There's a good look at Mike Danucci, the three-time All-Patriot League player. He broke his ankle a couple of weeks ago in the win in the rivalry against Lafayette, the 225-pounder. And just a few moments ago, we saw his buddy, another first-team All-Patriot Mountain Hawk, George Patizan, gingerly make his way off the field. Jackson Wiles replaces him at center. Third down and 5. Johnson trying to set up that screen. Green the catch, but there's Zach Johnson as he sniffed it out.
Man, that was a fine job of running to the football with that type of pursuit. Third down, screen type situation. You start seeing linemen downfield. You have to go find them. You have to go hit somebody. And the big fella, Jacob Messina, 69, the right guard, he didn't get up to Zach Johnson. That was his assignment. Good read, good destruction there on third down versus the screenplay.
This offensive line becoming very young late in the year. Lehigh 0 for 3 on third downs. Poole on the punt. Done a nice job of getting some air on his kicks, preventing Marshall from any type of return. A punt of 39 yards. And it's all about the road to Frisco. And you take a look at what's happened over the last 5 years. The FCS, quite frankly, has been dominated by the Missouri Valley Football Conference for the last 5 champions coming from that conference.
Down in the valley, man. Look at the Jackrabbits, North Dakota State, and you know the type of dominance they've had. North or South Dakota State have won 11 of the last 13, and we'll see how that plays out this year with Montana State being top ranked. So Sam Houston snuck one in there in 2020, but the Valley will be getting busy.
Good day for the Valley as well earlier today in the second round. Buchanan's been busy, and he has stood up as a flag flies. Great job there by William Parton. They talked about it. He is a downhill linebacker. That's when he's at his best.
And that's what we saw there on that outside zone play, trying to go east and west. He was able to get through there and make a nice tackle.
A well-played game. First penalty of the night.
Holding. Offense number 52. Penalties decline. Second down.
That's Keegan Henson, who has had a tough time slowing down TJ Burke, making just his 5th start.
Well, it's going to be to the left of your screen there. It was kind of tough to see, but he did get some cloth on the front of that jersey. And when you run that stretch play, that outside zone play, the defensive linemen are turning and running. It was hard to stay in front of them.
Lehigh declines the penalty. Second down, trying to lob it into a tight window that time, but just no room to work. Dwyer went up high. Adderley and Peltekian once again the coverage. And now Jordan Dwyer is still down on the turf.
Yeah, that was supreme effort trying to catch that ball high and outside. I mean, look at the athleticism in the vertical leap. I mean, there was no way he was going to complete that, catch that ball inbounds. But the effort that he put into that, it's big time. This young man's having a day so far with the touchdown grab, third down conversions. He's been all over the place.
Yeah, 3 catches, 50 yards for Dwyer in this first half. Third down and 11. Trying to set up that little tunnel screen, making the catch and getting into space. Mark Hamper down the sideline. Parton drug him out. Perfectly designed play for Luke Schleusner in this offense.
Well, if it's not Dwyer, it's going to be Hamper. I mean, those are the top 2 guys. It's a great call here on this tunnel screen. Watch the linemen get downfield. When those linemen get second level, it creates that tunnel. And if they get their hands on a defensive back, you're not getting off of them. You saw that mean stiff arm, too, on the way out. That was and he stayed up. Look at him getting extra yards right there. Big fella. Big time third down screen catch.
28 yards on the completion. Hamper coming in, averaging 21 yards a catch. Now testing the arm deep. Dwyer in stride. He has number 2. Touchdown, 62 yards.
You want to talk about a pretty pass? The air Jack Lane threw and allowed Dwyer to run up under that on that post route. Jordan Adderley just couldn't keep his feet, the defensive back, but that was a great call off the play action. Coach Ed told us he wanted to do some play action pass and take some shots, and that was one of them, and that was well executed.
Idaho will go for 2 after missing the point after earlier. Eli Cummings is checked into the game. He will line up to Jack Lane's right. 12-0 Idaho. Lane, that reverse pivot, looking for Cummings, and it goes off his fingertips, incomplete. And the two-point conversion fails for the Vandals.
Timeout on the field.
But Jack Lane has this crowd inside the P1 FCU-Kibbie Dome all fired up. The bomb to Dwyer.
Just off the play action. Big time throw and catch. Second touchdown for that young man, Dwyer.
Kimberly Eck loves herself some football, and one of the biggest Vandal fans, very active on social media, the mother of five, and her and Jason, you know, the life of being a coach's wife. When he made the decision to come here to Moscow, they were in Brookings. In fact, it was Jackson's senior year, and Kimberly stayed back. They allowed Jackson to finish out his senior year at Brookings High School, and she would make that drive or catch a flight after watching him play on Friday night and make sure she was in the crowd to cheer on her husband and the Vandals back in that inaugural year.
Definitely, she's a trooper, man, and I'll tell you, a lot of times when you're interviewing for these jobs, they say we interview and hire the wife, not the coach. And they made a great choice on both ends right there.
All smiles right now for Idaho. They lead 12-0. Just inside 12 minutes to play in the second quarter, and Marcus for this Lehigh offense just 56 yards so far. Keep in mind 28 of those yards coming on the very first play from the line of scrimmage with Yoder. What do you expect to see to try to get some type of rhythm?
Well, I think they should slow it down, go back to that same inside zone play that they ran on a 28-yarder. I mean, I don't think you should abandon the game plan, still run the football. I think they've been a little pass happy. And then slide back in with some of that quarterback run game with young Hayden Johnson. And they're going to have to probably attack the perimeter a little more, too. And I'm talking about at the sticks, not the 5-yard hitch routes. Those linebackers are all over those.
Well, if they're going to attack the perimeter, they need to get Jeffrey J. Meal some looks. Number 9, the explosive slot. One of the concerns for defensive coordinator Dan Jackson coming into this one. And it will be J. Meal in motion. He's a decoy. Johnson keeps it. And a good gallop out past the 40 up to the 45. A gain of 20 yards. Finally brought down by Calvin Beecham.
That's what I was talking about as far as quarterback run. So when you send Jamil in motion, now you get a power read. Power read is where you get a guard pulling, quarterback reads the edge, the defensive end took the jet sweep, and it was a run lane right there, well executed.
There's a good look at Jamil coming off a 10-catch, 137-yard performance in the opening round win against Richmond. From the 45, good cutback as you see Yoder with the plant in the plus territory. 13 more yards before Marshall brings him down.
That's what Lehigh is all about. That quarterback run off the power read. Then you'll see here, get the inside zone there, and great job on the right side of that offensive line. Curatolo and those guys recreating the line, getting some push, some double teams. That's what Lehigh needs to do. Keep the ball on the ground.
That last carry taking Yoder over the 1,000-yard mark. That hasn't happened for a while. You have to go back to the 2017 season, and what a year it's been for Yoder. He strung together really 2 good, consistent years. Keep in mind, Lehigh doesn't use the red shirt. The Patriot League only allows red shirting for medical and serious conditions like that as far as red shirt capability. So a lot of their first-year guys are put right into the line of fire. Second down, this is Green, one of those first years, using his hand to propel himself close to a first down. James Newby and Isaiah King, the tackles.
I think they're starting to figure out something here. Getting that downhill. As you see, Lehigh did not offer scholarships for football until 2013. See, the Patriot League can only offer 60, but the rest of the FCS is right at 63.
Cahill wanted to reestablish that Lehigh Valley and picking some of the top high school athletes from that football-rich area to fill this program. Green, the speedster, really had no chance from the get-go. Idaho ready for it. Loss of 3. Tyus Bertram.
Yeah, that defense was just way too athletic and just too fast. You see Keyshawn James Newby. He didn't necessarily make the play, but he caused a lot of havoc when he got all that penetration in there. You see the rest of the fellas running and hitting and making plays, but that outside zone play just wasn't able to get off. Defense was too fast.
Best looking drive of the night for Lehigh. They move the pocket, little sidearm action. There's Jay Meal with his first catch. Good job there. Johnson very comfortable throwing on the run, showcasing his accurate arm.
I like that. I really like the call there. When you're starting to get a lot of penetration, pass rush, go to sprint out pass. And then you got a guy like Jay Meal who's smooth with the route running. You see the numbers, and he was able to pick up a lot of yards just on a simple 10-yard out.
Morenga, the H-back, lines up to the left. Yoder, the running back. On that zone read, this will be Yoder keeping those legs churning. Forward progress should be enough to move the sticks, and it is. And Lehigh working on this game clock, down 12 inside the red zone for the first time.
Yeah, and they need to get points out of this drive because, you know, time's winding down. Idaho gets the ball first in the second half and start the third quarter. So at some point, you're going to have to cash in. But I think this is the game plan that they should have started off with. Run it, believe in it, make the defense show you that they'll stop it, and then make the right throw on third down when it's third and manageable.
8th play of this drive coming up. First down, Green giving ground, trying to struggle and get back to the original line of scrimmage. Again, it was Bertram in there. Eck finished him off. Loss of a yard, 2nd and 11.
See, here's the thing. This is just because they didn't get yards doesn't mean it wasn't successful. And I tell you what.
Injury timeout to a defensive player.
Hayden Johnson may pull that the next time because Keyshawn James Newby is squeezing down awfully hard on that handoff.
That's Christian Curatolo, who was down for Lehigh. And there is Amari Notice, the reserve defensive tackle from north of the border, Toronto, Ontario product. He's been very solid this year, really strong back-to-back years for Notice. Lehigh is going to use a timeout, and they are running out of bodies on this offensive line. So Curatolo getting attended to for the Mountain Hawks. They use the timeout. Lehigh threatening for the first time in this. 7:11 to go here in the second quarter. Idaho with a 12-0 lead, but Lehigh with their best looking drive of the night. Good news following that timeout, Christian Curatolo looked like he was going to be all right on the near side. He's not in there right now. CJ Abel has replaced him, and keep in mind they've already lost their first team All-Patriot League center in George Patazan. Jackson Wiles, his replacement, in there now. So a couple of backups on this critical drive for the Mountain Hawks as they try to get back into it. 2nd and 11 from the 21, taking a shot, looking for Humphrey, and it's broken up. Corey Thomas, the UNI transfer, able to break it up, setting up a third down.
Oh, I thought that was very catchable. Look at the pass protection here, and the true freshman Hayden Johnson. They're putting a little touch on that pass where only his man could get it. It hits you right in the hands. It's good defense, though. Like Thomas getting this on that back arm, on that right arm, he didn't allow him to bring it in.
Third downs have not been kind to Lehigh here inside the thunderous Kibbie Dome. On that read, Yoder took it, cut down by Johnson, who's been active in this first half, and the Mountain Hawks just want to get some points on the board, so they will send out Nick Garita.
I like the call. I mean, you don't want to force it on 3rd and 11. If you can hand it off and get the first down, cool. If not, just get in a situation where you can get an attempt for some points. You know, you want to cash that paycheck. You don't want to do all that work and not cash that check.
35-yard field goal for Garrido. Low snap. Nice job digging it out by Perry, and the kick is good. Garrido now 8 of 9 this season. They don't turn to him a lot. A difficult place to kick the football, but no problems for the junior from Easton. Something positive offensively for Cahill and Lehigh. Take a look at this turnaround for the Mountain Hawks. 9-3. They have won 6 straight. They clinched the Patriot League championship with a win against Lafayette. Knocked off the 9-seed Spiders last week, able to rally to get it done. And you know, their magic recipe has been a return to physicality and defense.
And on that 6-game win streak, they're only giving up 13 points a game. I mean, that's very impressive. And just that second half they had against Richmond last week, only surrendering 96 yards, -3 starters. They have 33 sacks on the year, too. I mean, this team, you know, conference champ for a reason. They're in this football game for a reason. And this Idaho team is nothing to sneeze at either. So right now it's just a matter of it's a chess match. They're both throwing body blows, trying to wear each other down, but Lehigh can't afford to give up any more big plays, you know, defensively, though. That's not something that they did when they won those 6 straight games. They weren't giving up those kind of explosives.
Short kick as they purposely try to keep it away from Marshall. And on the return, Eck takes it out past the 30 up to the 34-yard line. He can do it all.
And he looked kind of
like
sweet
you back in the day.
Yeah, I used to do a little bit of that, though. As you see, look at this dynamic duo, though, Sean. I mean, if it's not one, it's the other. I mean, look at the yards the average per catch for Hamper, as you see when he caught his screen. And Dwyer with his 2 touchdowns tonight. But 15 a pop and 21 a pop, that means when these guys get the ball, something big is going on. So that's why I just think Lehigh needs to, if they can keep these 2 guys, cut those averages in half and stop the run, then they'll have a better chance.
From the 34, they run that little shovel play, and they get it to Emerson Cortez Menivar, and he is popped. Mason Moore coming up from his safety position. Hello.
Ooh, now that right there was a pretty open field tackle. I like the play design, little outside fake, get the shovel pass, but man, that was a nice tackle in space there for Mason Moore. Got his eyes on the football, ran his legs. Woo. Now that's why I used to do a little bit of that too, Sean.
Yes, you did.
You know.
This was a big find for Moore. Again, Lehigh doesn't hit that transfer portal a lot. They brought in Moore from Miami, played for Chuck Martin last year. 2nd down, this is Cummings, and yards after contact. Cummings just kept plowing ahead, and he'll pick up the 1st down to the 46, a gain of 6.
Looked like a stop there. Stalemate at the line of scrimmage, in that 2nd and 3rd effort there by Cummings allowed him to power forward and plunge like that.
Eli Cummings, Nate Thomas, they were the 1-2 punch before injuries to start this season. Lane looked like he was initially going to go out of bounds, and then he cut back in to the field, picked up an additional couple of yards, takes it to the Lehigh 48.
Well, you see they're trying to get that play action off again, trying to find Dwyer once again. That time they double covered him and had downfield, so that time Lane had to tuck and run and get what he can get. And that's one of the things about play action passes. If you can run the ball effectively, you'll loosen up that secondary, but they still need to keep contained on the quarterback.
The more you watch Jack Lane, you really appreciate his calm demeanor running this offense. Cummings gets the call, and he is hit by Parton. Setting up a 3rd down, and really, Marcus, that's been the story of this first half. Idaho has thrived on 3rd downs, while Lehigh just can't get one.
Yeah, because it's 3rd and 4. That's 3rd and manageable. The other time they converted a 4th down on their opening drive, but on the play to Hamper, that was 3rd and 11. So they've shown that they can get it when they're behind the sticks, and then when they're here in 3rd and medium, But I think right now Lehigh needs to bring some pressure, play some man-to-man, and don't allow free releases because it's a lot of grass in between those defenders and the receivers.
They hand the ball off. This is Cummings, and again, the initial wave cannot bring him down. Eli Cummings, 9 hard-fought yards. The Vandals, 5 for 7 on third down.
Well, I like the call because the Vandals were going to go for it on fourth down once again. They run a split zone there, as you see the tight end, big Alex Moore, going from left to right. But just the second and third effort there by Elisha Cummings once again, man, is, you know, that starts to wear a defense down, and you start losing confidence if the first guy can't make that tackle.
Cummings, one of those players who benefited with that first-round bye last week. Here he is giving ground, and he will lose yardage. Tripped up by Edwards, who came flying through. It's a loss of 6 back to the 30. Check that, the 45.
That was a great tackle by Bryson Edwards. I mean, watch how he just slashes to the left, unblocked, scraping, getting downhill. That's the footwork you want to see from these linebackers, these young fellas, man. See, right there, that's when Idaho got away from their identity. They needed to keep that ball going north and south in between the tackles. They tried to get outside the tackles, therefore a negative play.
Edwards coming off a 12-tackle game last week. Second down over the middle, tight coverage. As this one falls incomplete. Dwyer took a big hit. Mekhi Smith in the neighborhood.
It's a dangerous throw. They got a little switch release there. It's good coverage there. They were playing quarters coverage. Just means cover 4 guys deep. And the safeties hug the hashes, corners stay outside the numbers, and they pass that route off. That was a great job right there.
You expect pressure here as TJ Burke checks back into the game.
Well, no, I would drop 8 because it's 3rd and 15 and try to force the ball to check down short.
They run a stunt, escaping the pocket, now throwing against the grain, and this one wobbles incomplete. Good job there by the interior for Lehigh as they were able to flush the pocket with Joshua Philemon and TJ Burke.
That's a good stop there for Lehigh Mountain Hawks because they stopped some of the bleeding. Idaho, they moved the football running it, but right when they got here, when you're unsuccessful on first down, Sean, it just makes your life a lot harder. That's a big stop for Lehigh, and they got 2.5 to see what they can do with it.
Yeah, you credit Bryson Edwards with that TFL of Cummings, which put Idaho behind the chains. Peltekian with a dangerous catch above his head. It works for him, and now he gets to the outside. Peltekian whistled out of bounds at the 33, a return of 24 yards. So Lehigh with a couple of timeouts, plus the 2-minute timeout coming up.
Yeah, this Peltekian is a good football player. I mean, 6 foot 210. I mean, he looks like a guy that could go both ways. He starts at free safety. I bet you could throw him in at running back the way he looks with that on that punt return there. Dangerous decision to field the ball with all that traffic in his face. But hey, it's the second round of the playoffs, Sean. It's do or die, win or go home. And he saved his team about 22 yards of field position.
He was a friend of teammate of Jeffrey J. Meal. Those two were teammates at Deerfield Academy for a year. He actually committed to Lehigh 5 days before J. Meal did. Looked a little bit like J. Meal on that return. 1st and 10. From the 33, Johnson rolls left, being chased, and smartly just throws it away.
That coverage right there, I think they actually fooled young Hayden Johnson. You know, in our meeting last night, Coach Egg told us, hey, we're going to roll the corner to the field. That's just called 3 clouds, Sean. When that corner starts back and he rolls up and sits on those numbers, it gives a false read. You play 3 guys deep. That's a great look there defensively for the Vandals.
Dan Jackson in his first year as the defensive coordinator for Idaho, replacing Rob Ulrich, who took the job on the West Coast at San Diego State this offseason. Second down, blown up in the backfield, tackled back at the 28. Xavier Slayton, but it was Dallas Afalava, the first one to hit him.
That time, it backfired.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
Afalava, the first team all Big Sky. The center of that interior and experienced D-line for Idaho. Saturday night, here in Moscow, Idaho, and the band always adding to the decibel level inside this unique facility, the center of the campus here at the University of Idaho. Third month of December game in the last 2 years for the Vandals. Opportunity to host a couple of games last year. They earned the bye this year. And now here comes this crowd on 3rd and 13. Offline on the snap. That slowed down the transition on the handoff to Green. And Lehigh is going to have to punt the football back-to-back plays for Afalava.
That's a good call there. I mean, I was a little surprised that the 5 couldn't block the 3, but it started with the bad timing of the snap. And Afalava makes another play there. And, you know, that 3rd and 15, it favors the defense. And you just don't want to force the ball here, turn it over, make a mistake.
Thank you.
Punt it and play defense.
Idaho using their first timeout as they have the opportunity to get the football back, as you see the sophomore from Seattle with Afalava coming off another Big Sky performance. First team this year, and rightfully so. You know, you look at this defense. Keyshawn James Newby back healthy and in the lineup tonight after missing the Idaho State game. You have Malachi Williams, Larman, Kratzer, Notice, Slayton. This is a deep defensive line.
Yeah, and they returned 6 of their top 8 last year, all 4 starters from last year. Let's not forget, this same defense held Oregon 24 points and 107 yards rushing.
Did that in Eugene back in week 1. For the first time, an opportunity on the return for Marshall. And there goes Andrew Marshall to midfield, still on his feet, finally corralled at the 41. 40 yards for one of the premier return men in college football, Dylan McFadden, the last line of defense.
Well, that's what happens sometimes when you outkick the coverage. That was a high punt. But right there, that was a nice job of setting up his blocks that did Marshall, making plays in space. Almost lost the football there, but what a way to flip the field there in a 2-minute situation and give his team the football right there on a 42-yard line. It's all smiles, too, man. That was a big-time return.
Marshall, one of 3 FCS players this season to return both a kick and a punt for a touchdown. Nearly had another. He does set up Idaho in great shape. 1st and 10 from the 42. Lane wants it wide open. Mark Hamper, touchdown. The long ball working inside the dome.
And that's what you do in a sudden change situation. What I mean by sudden change, Sean, it's when you start the ball on the short side of the field. Watch the slot receiver. You give a little double move, a little stutter and go, slant and go. We call it a sluggo. They like to match up there, and that was an excellent, excellent play action fake, throw and catch. Young man Hamper.
Point after is good by Pope. And that didn't take long. Jack Lane, his 3rd touchdown pass. He's thrown for over 200 yards, making his first start in the postseason.
Let's watch this again. Gave a little play action. Double move on the sluggo, AKA the slant and go. And there's a Hamper, big play Hamper, 21 per catch almost. And you see why. When he catches it, he's going to make you pay. And that's what a lot of teams do, Sean. When they get the ball on that short side of the field, what do I mean? Inside the 50. They like to take a shot, especially after that return by Marshall.
Well, you get to this stage of the season and the end of half possession so critical. If you're Lehigh, you're maybe a first down or 2 away from, at no worse, going in down just the 9 at halftime. And now you see the quick strike offense and the deep ball, which has been prevalent for Idaho tonight.
Yeah, a lot of great coaches. They talk about the middle 8, and that's the last 4 minutes of the first half and the first 4 minutes of the third quarter. A lot of games have been won and lost there. A lot of things happen, especially in that situational football. But Idaho, give them credit, special teams. They were able to flip the field and then take a shot with a one-play score.
Winner of this game gets the top seed in unbeaten Montana State and Bozeman next weekend. Jack Lane taking another look at the in-game video, one of the new twitches this year added to college football, and you see the vantage point, one of the best seats in the house here inside the Kibbie Dome. That video's probably been a pretty fun one to watch for Lane tonight.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's playing lights out, man. They're running the ball well enough, and then they're taking their shots. Something that they wanted to do is hit home runs on the play action pass and attack that zone coverage by the Mountain Hawks. But right now they're playing off their defense because the last series their defense played lights out and special teams got them some field position.
An offense not really designed to come from behind, and this young offensive line with mistake as they were a little premature up front. Looked like that was Langston Jones.
Full start, offense, number 60, 5-yard penalty, first down.
And it's only going to get noisier now for this young offensive line.
Yeah, this is that point of the game where crowd starts to get wild and loud, down a few scores, and you just got to make something happen. You got to maintain your poise.
1st and 15, slinging it toward the sideline. Humphrey makes the catch, gets out of bounds up to the 27-yard line. It's a gain of 7. You see Humphrey just does not appear to be fully back to 100% health. He was hobbled last week. But he's one of those players that takes a lot of pressure off Jameel because he can stretch the defense.
That was a good completion there. Idaho's playing their prevent defense. They're kind of soft zone, long yardage defense, but so expect them to attack the sideline.
Another quick throw and threading the needle that time, making the adjustment. That's Jameer Harden, the freshman, just his 5th catch of the year.
I like that. I like the confidence in that throw by Hayden Johnson. He was very decisive, made his read and let it fly.
Just like that, up to the 42-yard line. Johnson rolls right, can take off if he wants, and that's what he will do. And smartly steps out of bounds, stops the clock. He heard the footsteps of McDougal. 2nd down, scramble of 3 for Hayden Johnson.
That was a good decision by the true freshman to be able to scan the field, break, contain, protect the football, and make something positive happen and stop the clock.
Johnson has done his most damage running the football, 43 yards on the 5 carries to go along with those 35 passing yards. Good job by the O-line. They give him initial time, and now he spots Humphrey and a 1st down to the Idaho 35-yard line.
That was great vision down the field by the young fella to be able to locate his man. He also maybe had one more receiver breaking free. That was Harden.
20 yards on the throw and catch. Now pressure comes. Look at Johnson, just the poise to find the open area. Now he'll tuck and run and pick up positive yardage. Man, the more you watch this true freshman, the more you are impressed.
I mean, he's playing with maturity, and you wouldn't think the decision he's making that he played high school football a year ago. I mean, but I tell you, I think sometimes, I say this a lot, Coach Cahill will attest to this. Sometimes you play your best football when you loosen up. When you just let it go, get into your 2-minute offense and force the defense to play ball instead of trying to, stick to your game plan, good things happen.
Yoder behind a nice block from his tight end. He will take it up to the 23-yard line where he picks up the 1st down. Hit by Larmond and Marshall.
Result of the play is a 1st down. Lehigh takes their 2nd charge, time out of the half, 30 seconds.
Cahill will use the timeout. They have 1 remaining. And how about this drive orchestrated by Hayden Johnson?
I like to call to run the ball there, too. Keep the defense honest. He almost popped it, too. No, but I think Johnson has showed some discernment. I mean, he's a guy that's and this is called situational football, right? It's a 2-minute situation. He's able to make a couple of throws, read the defense. Then he was able to tuck and run and get out of bounds and preserve the timeouts and those precious seconds there. This current drive only took 54 seconds off the clock, 51 yards. We'll see how the young freshman tries to capitalize here. You got 1 timeout left. I think you take a shot or 2 at the end zone, but you have to at least get a field goal attempt out of this drive.
Final game of the night here in the second round of the FCS playoffs. Lehigh with a timeout remaining. 39 seconds, pressure, and there is James Newby. The sack king in the Big Sky registers his first of the night.
Watch his get off to the left of your screen. I mean, he was able to
Third and final charge, time out of the half. Lehigh, with 30 seconds.
beat Joe Moronka, the tight end, inside leverage, and he had enough athleticism to get up the field and cut Hayden Johnson's water off as he tried to get around that edge. But his first step has been jumping out at me all night. It was just a matter of time. That time he just made an inside move, Sean.
What a great story when you look at Keyshawn James Newby, the 10 sacks, among the top 20 at the FCS level, led the Big Sky in that category, transitioned from the NAIA to the FCS last year, spent a couple of years at Montana Tech, and earlier this morning he made the walk, part of the commencement ceremonies. Proud graduate. Says he still might go back to Montana Tech when it's all done to continue his initial pursuit of becoming a civil engineer.
Yeah, he's a very, very sharp kid. It's good to see guys graduate on the road to trying to win a championship.
Just a devastating play there for Lehigh, and now again it's Johnson. Somehow he gets out of it, lobs it over the head of Harden. Oh, what an athletic play by Johnson just to keep it alive.
Yeah, Johnson had a little riverboat gambler in him that time because he got out of there. If you're going to throw that, you got to throw it to the end zone. But I'll tell you, watch here, though, and it's tough to block these guys one-on-one for that long. But look at the strength and the poise. He was going down, though, tried to make a play. But, hey, it's the playoffs. Just got sacked. No timeouts. You got to try to make something happen here.
Keep in mind, Idaho will get the football to start the second half. 4-man pressure. Johnson will fake. He has a lot of work to do, makes a defender miss, and Hayden Johnson up to the 22. Clock continues to move. They cannot stop it. They will quickly send out Garrido. Let's see if they can get this field goal away. 2 seconds down to 1. Garrido with the kick. It's airborne, and it is good. Textbook special teams unit getting out onto the field, knowing their assignments, and Garrido from 39 yards sends it through.
Oh man, that's how you practice it. It's normally on a Thursday. You don't have any timeouts, and you just play situational football. They didn't have any timeouts there. They were able to get the field goal team on the field, get lined up, and make the kick. What a drive there! But I'll tell you what, that's a win for the defense as well because they didn't give up any points. They didn't give up a touchdown.
Idaho trying to advance into the quarterfinal round for the second straight year. As you take another look at Nick Garrido, his second field goal in the first half, as they just did beat the clock as they got that snap away.
Very impressive there. Vandals almost got a piece of that, though. You see the effort coming off the edge, but I was impressed with them being able to just have the awareness to get on that field, get lined up, kick that football, and actually make it under that type of duress.
Idaho goes for 253 in the first half. 19-6 lead.
Hey,
Jason Eck now joins us. Coach, you wanted to start quick. You did on that opening drive. Take us through the first half.
Yeah, I thought we did some good things, but you know, Lehigh's a good team that's playing really hard, and that was big for them to get a field goal. I didn't love giving up that field goal at the end of the half.
Hey, Coach, we sat with you last night. You're doing exactly what you said, a little play action, and just talk to us about those explosives.
Yeah, I mean, I like our matchup of our receivers of Hamper and Dwyer on their guys, so we'll keep trying to find opportunities. We got to run the ball better, though. They're doing too good of a job stopping our run, and, we got to shut them down. They're moving the ball on us too well. We've done a nice job of some red zone defense to force them to field goals, but we got to, not let them get down there in the first place.
Good luck in the second half.
Thanks. He's up.
Jason Eck and Idaho heading into the locker rooms out in front here inside their beloved palace, the Kibbie Dome. This defense setting the tone. Vandals by 13 here at the intermission. Final game on what has been a busy second round of FCS playoff action here in Moscow. Idaho out in front of Lehigh, 19-6 at the intermission. Sean Kinney alongside Marcus Ray. This is a tough place to play. Lehigh knew that coming in. Idaho wanted to get off to the quick start. They have hit that deep ball quite a bit in the first half, and that's been the difference maker.
Yeah, and they've done it off play action pass. They ran the ball just well enough to loosen up that secondary. Lehigh cannot continue to give up those play action passes deep. But on the flip side, the Vandals defense has played well, only giving up 2 field goals, one at the very end of the half.
Yeah, and they have been a mainstay really all year. When you look at the experience with this Idaho team, it has been on the defensive side of the football. Well, one spot to go. The Seeds have held true to form this year in the FCS playoffs as you take a look at what has transpired so far today. North Dakota State rolls. They put up 51 inside the Fargo Dome, so they get ready to take on Mercer. This is a very physical Mercer team, Marcus. And then the bottom half, the Jacks just keep getting it done. They knocked off Montana and Brookings. They will take on Incarnate Word.
Yeah, the high seeds held true to form. It's going to be interesting, and I think styles make fights. And you mentioned how physical Mercer is. It's going to be interesting to see. South Dakota State, defending champions, though, they're still in it to win it.
Now you take a look at where we're situated, this particular side of the bracket. The winner of this game gets ready for Montana State next weekend in Bozeman. South Dakota had a scare inside the Dakota Dome in Vermillion. They hold off Tarleton State, so they get ready to take on UC Davis, another Big Sky.
Well, I tell you, I did that UT Martin game a week ago. I'm surprised they got beat like that. I thought they would put up a little more of a fight, but hey, Montana State is the team to beat according to the seed. And I tell you what, Idaho's trying to get to that rematch. They're about 30 minutes away if they continue to play like that, but that's what Coach Eck was talking about, trying to get to that next level to get another shot at the #1 seed.
Idaho a little short-handed in the first matchup with Montana State. They're hoping to be fully healthy if they can survive this second half. Montana State, clearly, they have been the class of the FCS this year. They remain unbeaten, 13-0. They're back into the quarterfinals. North Dakota State puts up the offense in their win. And then South Dakota State and South Dakota, the two Missouri Valley Football Conference schools from South Dakota, putting on a show.
I'll tell you, North Dakota State, fourth game this season, scoring 50 or more points. I mean, they can get up and down with the best of them. The Dakotas have always been impressive, and we'll see how it plays out.
Couple of indoor venues, couple of outdoor venues when you look at those top 4 seeds as we move into the quarterfinal round next weekend. One more ticket to be punched. Will it be Idaho or Lehigh? We're at halftime here in Moscow. Second round of the FCS playoffs as we welcome you back to Moscow. Idaho out in front, 19-6 over the champions of the Patriot, Lehigh, making just their second trip to the Kibbie Dome. Sean Kinney alongside Marcus Ray. Entertaining first half. Idaho wanted to start quick. They did that, plus this defense, which has been consistent all year, setting the tone in the first half.
Yeah, Idaho came out swinging. They had a 15-play drive, and they just marched down and scored. But I was impressed with their defense, not giving up any big plays and limiting a pretty good Lehigh offense to 6 points.
Well, after the defense forced a quick possession for Lehigh, Idaho was able to get the football, and it did not take long. The first of 3 touchdown passes for Jack Lane.
They open things up with Jordan Dwyer, and then they come right back. But that time it didn't work because the big fella, T.J. Burke, one of the best defensive linemen in all of college football. But then they come right back, Sean, and They like play action, pass deep. Another one to Dwyer on the post route.
Second touchdown of the night for Dwyer, and we talked about this Vandal defense, the experience up front off of Lava with the TFL. And hey, how about one more? The home run ball working, this time it's Hamper.
Yeah, Hamper, he's another big play guy. They complement each other well. But I was impressed with Lehigh being able to get a last-second field goal, rushing guys on the field with like 12 seconds left. That was very impressive.
A couple of field goals by Garrido, the offense for the Mountain Hawks. And you take a look at this terrific duo. Keep in mind, Idaho lost so many of their skill players last season. In steps Dwyer and Hamper, and they are picking up where they left off as far as the experienced guys they lost a year ago.
Yeah, they're just doubling up on their averages here. I mean, going with 26 yards. But I tell you what, when you run the ball the way they do and the way Lane is throwing that football, they're going to be hard to stop.
And mainly Buchanan running the football for Idaho. Well, Lehigh rallied last week. Can they do it here on the road for a second straight week? We're about to find out. Second half kickoff coming up. Idaho out in front as we get ready to start the third quarter. The Vandals winning the statistical battle as well. You see the third downs, the big difference between the two, and even winning the time of possession, something that Lehigh is used to having in their corner.
Lehigh ran the ball well. They actually lost some rush yards with a couple of sacks in there.
McDougal from the 18 up as flags fly, and he takes it out past the 40. McDougal up to the 45-yard line, but flags are down.
Yeah, he almost popped that one, and we'll see if these two flags on the field are the reason why.
During the return, holding, receiving team number 18, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So the Vandals will be pushed back. Jack Lane, the redshirt sophomore, what a first half. 9 of 14, 204 yards. 3 touchdowns. Take another look at this penalty on the return. And yep, Marcus, that's going to get it every time.
Oh, 100% takedown, like a WWE kind of sweet little chin music takedown move. You know what I mean, Sean? Can't do that, brother.
So Lane after the penalty from the 25-yard line. Hamper in motion. They come that direction. Little hitch pass caught. And thrown ahead by Parton up to the 37, a gain of 12. What did Jason Eck tell us last night? Hamper does a lot of his damage yards after contact.
Definitely, and that time they motioned him from the other side of the formation and just threw him a ball because the coverage was so soft, and they was expecting him to make the corner miss and get more yards, and got the first down.
Hamper coming from a football family. Both of his brothers played college football. Like his quarterback, Lane grew up in Oregon. Checks down here, low throw is dug out. And this is the guy they want to get with some green pastures out in front. Electric, can cover the ground in a hurry, and Deshaun Buchanan, 21 yards.
Well, you have to give Jack Lane some credit because he went through his progression and then he checked the football down. That's what you want to see.
Injury timeout to a defensive player.
That's really what you want to see, is just know the throw, get it to a guy who can make a play, and that's what he did that play.
Starting corner Aiden Singleton being attended to. Singleton, like Edwards, had 12 tackles last week. 2-year starter. He was thrust into the line of fire last year. Secondary that took some injuries a season ago, and young man whose confidence just keeps getting better and better. And you see one of the players out there to check on him was Ignatius Williams. He's an injured cornerback. He will go right into the medical tent. Andrew Worthy replaces him. So Idaho picking up where they left off in that first half, and that is the connection of Lane to Hamper. Worthy, who we just talked about, in there for the injured Singleton, and on the tackle.
Just another pitch and catch, soft coverage. Hamper breaks it off at this, at 7 to 8 yard mark. It's actually an RPO where Jack Lane can hand that football off. It's a run play. The lineman actually a run blocking, and the quarterback has the liberty to throw it out to the receiver if he has some grass.
Hamper approaching 100 yards. That last catch is 5th of the night, 97 yards. Second down, again, getting rid of it quickly and making the catch in a first down. Dwyer tackled by Adderley, and a first down throw to Jordan Dwyer, and Idaho foot on the gas here on this opening drive.
Another RPO. You see the nice little hitch route, get an inward breaking route by Hamper, but then just get Dwyer just sitting down right at the sticks. And once again, it's up to the quarterback to decide if he wants to hand that off or throw the football in that open grass area.
See what Dwyer has done tonight. Keep in mind, 6 of the top 7 receivers from last year all gone. They'll take a shot. Hamper looking for a second, and it's broken up. Beautiful play there by Andrew Worthy as he got his hand in the nick of time.
Yeah, you could tell that it's going to be play action pass with those tight splits by the receivers, and they run those crossroads. That's a lot of grass for that out and up for Hamper that time. Andrew Worthy didn't bite, and he was able to watch how he plays the ball in the air with that right hand, getting it right in between catch radius, hand area, knocking that ball loose. That's a fine play.
That looked like a little Marcus Ray back in the day.
Yeah, I used to drop him though, Sean. I didn't knock him down like that.
Second down, reverse pivot coming near side. He will lob it, and a diving catch is made. Terrific catch by Cortez Minivar. First and goal, Idaho.
See, that's called a hitch boot, where a quarterback looks to the boundary, then he spins out of there, and it freezes the defense. So you'll see it's a hitch boot. He's going to look, freeze the defense, then he reverse pivots out, finds his man.
And now, as a flag is down, Lane trying to get to the pylon. Worthy lassos him out, but some laundry out on the turf, and let's wait and see what this is about. Jeremy Tate coming over. Not the type of start that Kevin Cahill was hoping from his defense here right out of the gates to start this third quarter.
And Idaho went
Illegal substitution. Defense, 12 on the field. A penalty decline. Result of play. Second down.
Tempo got him that time.
And that's what it's for too. And as you see to the bottom of your screen, you got guys running off the field, and that's tough to try to substitute from that part of the field. But that's why you do it. That's why it worked. They declined the penalty there and still got a positive play.
Idaho's going to go with their jumbo package. Tyler Skinner will check in as an extra tight end. Jack Foster also checking into the game. The delay was Jason Eck trying to figure out what they wanted to do concerning that last penalty. They'll take the yards on the scramble, and now they'll go second and goal up the middle. Buchanan busted at first, and then help arrived. Great job there by Lehigh, Parton, and TJ Burke.
Nice job at the point of attack. You'll see they get penetration and build a wall, maintain their gap integrity. Getting a lot of white shirts to the ball. That was a great defensive stand there.
Third down and goal for Idaho. They changed their personnel. Vandals 5 of 8 on third downs tonight. Jason Eck trying to stretch this lead to the largest of the night. Right up the middle they go. Touchdown, Deshaun Buchanan. First rushing touchdown tonight for the Vandals.
That time they use a little misdirection. You'll see the motion man come and give you that jet sweep feel, get those linebackers scraping over the top, and they run the inside power, pulling the backside guard there. That's a nice design. Spread that defense out, make them defend right, left, and middle. Good call there. 9 plays, 75 yards in 4 minutes.
This is an offensive line. They will pull their linemen about as much as anyone in the country. 2-point conversion, trying to get some points back. They had a missed point after and a missed 2-point conversion earlier tonight. 3 receivers set. Lane looking right, fires it, and it is caught. Dwyer with the catch, he knows it. 2-point conversion, Idaho
On the field.
with their largest lead. The Vandals sending a statement on this opening drive of the second half. Deshaun Buchanan, he's back, he's healthy. He found me. The NCAA FCS championship coverage continues next weekend with quarterfinal coverage across the ESPN networks. For more information, visit NCAA.com, the home for all 90 NCAA championships. The road to Frisco, January 6th. National championship. A lot of work to do before then. The quarterfinals next weekend, the semis right before Christmas, and then the championship in Frisco. Jack Lane, what a night. 14 of 20, 269 yards. A young man that they say spends 80% of his time right here in this facility inside the Kibbie Dome. He loves football, always looking to get better, always in the film room. Even last night, Jason Eck told us he became a receiving target for his quarterback because he was out here just throwing the football around.
I tell you what, man, when you're a film junkie like that in a good way, I tell you, it just makes you better, makes you just learn something new every time. And I promise you, you know your opponent a lot better than most other people.
Lehigh now looking at their largest deficit of the night. Kevin Cahill in this offense, 168 yards in the first half. Just will not panic in this situation with the freshman quarterback. Had some success late in that second quarter. You see what Johnson has been able to do on the ground, the 48 rushing yards. Yoder leading the attack with 65 on the ground. They start, though, with Green, and Jaden Green up ahead, fights his way for 3.
Well, there's no need to panic here. I mean, but they definitely are going to have to score. Obviously, down 3 touchdowns. They haven't been able to punch it in when they did get down in the red area. But I still think they had some success mixing the quarterback run in there, throwing some intermediate routes at the sticks on the outside. So at this point, Hayden Johnson is going to have to turn into a comeback machine, but he's got to make the right throws.
Quiet first half for Jay Meal. They go over the middle. This is hauled in by the tight end, up past the 35, up to the 37. That's Logan Galetta, the transfer from Boston College, spent a year at BC, and that was on the defensive side of the football, transition to receiver this past spring.
Yeah, he just ran what's called a stick route. You just get inside the hash, 5 yards deep, turn around, and you can break it in or out based on where the linebacker is.
First down, Green just waiting for something to open up, and nothing did. Thrown down, Jakari Larman.
The big fella, Larman, just watch him here use his hands. Didn't get much penetration, but he stayed with the play. He maintained his B-gap responsibility. Even with all of the hands all on his chest, he was able to still get some penetration late. Nice job there.
Larman, one of 10 seniors on the defensive side of the football. That's where the experience is. Second down. Johnson directing traffic, wants his receiver to come back. Humphrey did, but he could not reel it in. Terrific throw by Johnson. He put it exactly where he needed to.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting and hit him in a bad spot, right in the hands. I mean, you have to catch that one, Sean. I mean, give Johnson some credit, getting away from pressure, extending the play. Here comes a scramble drill. Mason Humphrey ran a comeback route. He has to reel that in. I mean, and you move the chains. You just can't miss those opportunities against a defense like Idaho.
It's been a nightmare night on third downs for the Mountain Hawks. Here they come. Johnson will take a shot and some contact, and it's caught. This time Humphrey hangs on. Corey Thomas tugging at that jersey as you saw the flag come in.
Pass
Terrific
interference,
concentration.
Defense, penalties decline. Result of play, first down, Lehigh.
Well, that's one way to make up for the drop.
Yeah, this time the ball hit Humphrey in a better spot, right in the hands. And I tell you, sometimes it's just a good thing to go up top.
Complete the catch. On the review.
It's a good thing to go up top because it's a 50-50 ball, meaning, meaning that either you're going to catch it or I'm going to catch it. But right there, it looks like that ball comes outside and hits the ground. That'd be an unfortunate drop for Humphrey, but you still got pass interference, though. So
Right.
they still will be able to get something positive out of it, but they're going to bring that catch back.
So we go upstairs for the first time. Take another look. Corey Thomas had the contact initially, and Humphrey tried to hang on. You see that ball sneak its way through that back arm, and like Marcus said, you got to believe this one's going to be overturned. Really on the field is a catch, but I think there's enough evidence from what we're seeing to overturn that call.
Yeah, I think it's going to be conclusive right there. You see the ball clearly out, hits the ground first on his way down. Nice job by our crew slowing that down right there. The ball clearly is out. Humphrey missed an opportunity to catch it, but he did draw that pass interference. I like the decision by Johnson to go up top. I mean, if you see a one-on-one matchup, why not? I mean, you're down 3 scores. And I'm impressed with this kid because he knows the throw. He hasn't really made a throw that I've questioned other than maybe the one where he scrambled and flicked it up late. But everything else, I think he's been right on the money with his decision making.
Last year at this time, he was playing for his high school team, the Blue Streak, Anaheim Township. He was the quarterback, 2-time first-team All-Stater, set numerous school records. Take one more look at it, the ball loose.
Clearly out right there. Hits the ground actually before Humphrey hits the ground.
You know, Marcus, you go back to Hayden Johnson. This is the type of athlete that Kevin Cahill is starting to bring in to Lehigh. Those local products, Lancaster, PA. He grew up just 90 minutes from campus. Coaching staff saw him this spring, and they knew immediately that they needed to get this guy some reps. And he's played every game this year as we listen in.
It is an incomplete pass. However, the pass interference when the defense number 1 will be enforced 15 yards from the previous spot. Will be first down, Lehigh.
And with that 15 yards, it gives them the first down right at midfield.
Yeah, that's a win-win situation there. You know, the completion would have gave him better field position, but the call still gives him a first down. Nice job by Humphrey drawing that pass interference, and Hayden Johnson having enough understanding of the situation to put it up, either pass interference or you catch it.
Gillette of the slot, and Jameel to the right, Humphrey to the top of the screen, 1st and 10. Yoder back in the game at running back at the design power here as Johnson bullies his way, plus territory onto the Idaho side, tackled by Eck.
I like that call on first down. Quarterback power, ground and pound, get a 7-yard pickup there. Get the defense on their heels, push them around a little bit. Now you be smart, I'd run it again and then come back and go up top.
Following the tight end, Yoder gets free. Yoder up to the 35-yard line. Followed Aiden Schomp, the H-back. No Nick Williams again at tight end tonight for Lehigh. Their starter out with an injury, concussion protocol. So Schomp, Marenga, Stolzitz, those trio of tight ends all getting some reps. Fresh set of downs from the 36. Looking over a 4-man rush, taking it straight up the gut. Johnson, he just has that pocket presence, knows when to take off.
Yeah, this is a stick draw, meaning that was a pass play with a quarterback draw attached to it. So if he doesn't like the quick throw, then he immediately can follow his running back on the quarterback draw. let us remind you that Lehigh did have a come-from-behind win last week. So they're not going to give up, and they're going to fight. And I'll tell you what, if they score here, they'll be right back in that same type of scoring situation they were in a week ago.
This is Yoder on second down. Into the pile he goes. Afalava, who's having a typical night inside the P1 FCU-Kibbie Dome, and that is one in which he lives in the backfield. Another tackle.
I like the decision to run the football because, if you drop back there and you get sacked, then it just disrupts your whole rhythm. But right here at 3rd and 5, 2 down, I think this is 4 down territory, so you don't have, just your 3rd down call has to get some of it, but you don't need all of it.
3rd down over the middle, and it's George free, incomplete. Bertram timed it beautifully. We talked about those rotating tight ends. That time trying to hit Jake Stolzitz.
Yeah, that's a mesh route. Mesh route is just when you get a short crossing route. And Idaho was able to get a lot of pressure on a quick pass with a nice stunt. Got a little games action where you get the defensive tackles crisscrossing. But he was actually supposed to sit down in the grass area, though, Sean. If you keep running, then you'll run right into a defender.
This crowd knows what's at stake. 4th and 5. Zipping it, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Zach Johnson. A foot race. Johnson to the 10. Pick 6 to the house. 69 yards.
Wow. That was big time, Sean. I mean, and it wasn't like he threw it right to him. Watch the pass drop by Zach Johnson as he's a curl player, and he just reads the quarterback's eyes, catches it with his hands, and he takes it to the house. Very athletic. We told you about his background in basketball. This young man here is a supreme athlete. That was an NFL Sunday kind of play right there.
Timeout.
The defense getting into the act. Johnson with the pick 6. All Idaho here from Moscow. Zach Johnson just a few moments ago, officially 74 yards. Young man in high school who was a standout wide receiver, knew what to do when he had the football in his hands. He knew what to do with it right there.
But the thing is, Sean, he knew how to catch it. I mean, the hand-eye coordination, the ability to snatch it out of the air on the run. Look at him celebrating. I mean, these college kids nowadays, they got all kind of celebrations. He has every reason to. The red shirt freshman, 6'3", 225. Looks like he had a little 4.6, 4.7 in him, Sean. I mean, he kind of got out of there, man. I'd throw him in a little tight end package too, man, and make him go up top on somebody, since that's what's hot in the streets right now, the two-way guy. But what a play there for young Zach Johnson. Wow.
And we were talking about Jason Eck really trying to keep that in-home talent here at Idaho, and Johnson would be a perfect example. Grew up in Coeur d'Alene, beautiful Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Played for Lake City High School and really burst onto the scene at last year's spring game. He had a couple of sacks in that spring contest, and we started the show with the development of these young linebackers, Eck and Johnson, and they have not disappointed tonight. Eck with 7 tackles, Johnson a couple of TFLs, and now the pick 6.
Yeah, anytime you score on defense, man, that's just kind of demoralizes an offense. But those young linebackers, man, I'll tell you what, they run and hit. I said that earlier, and they cover. But the pass drop was just exactly where you want him to be in that situation on 4th down.
How will Johnson respond after his first turnover of the night? Rolls to the boundary side, lofts it up. Humphrey makes the catch. He beat Andrew Marshall. 36 yards. One thing we both know, this Lehigh team, it's in their DNA. They're just going to keep coming and coming at you and fighting.
Yeah, they don't have any quit. That time Humphrey got away with a little push. I tell you what, but if they didn't call it, he didn't do it. But Marshall was pleading his case for some. That's how he got that separation. Nice play there for Humphrey.
Longest play from the line of scrimmage tonight for the Mountain Hawks, all the way from Bethlehem, PA. First down run, up to the 36 for Jaden Green. Green's an interesting story. They found him all the way out in San Francisco, California. They found him late in the recruitment process, but he checked off all the boxes as far as the culture, the high academic standards that Lehigh demands. He visited Pennsylvania with his mom, and then 48 hours after that visit, he was ready.
Yeah, he cracked one for 65 against Richmond last week in that fourth quarter.
Johnson keeps it as they fake the jet sweep. Krautzer in on the stop. Third down and short.
That time that's called that jet read again, a little counter action. Urban Meyer would call it a bash play, back away sweep, where the handoff goes away from the two pullers, and it's either a sweep or a keep. The quarterback has the liberty to read it.
Offensive coordinator Dan Hunt just has not found the recipe on third downs tonight, 1 of 8. And he won't find it here either, although Green kept those legs churning. I was a little bit premature there. And how about the freshman just lowering those pads, and he was not going to be denied. Stood up initially at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he's not very big. He's talking about 5'9", 175. Watch how he gets downhill. He goes vertical, follows his block, but he's running through tackles. Look at the strength there. To be able to stand strong, lower his pad level, and take Sam Brown on a ride. That's what he did for a first down.
A first year for Lehigh to keep an eye on. Tremendous talent. Johnson pays the price as he throws off the deflection. Nearly picked off. That was Isaiah King dropping back into coverage, who had his hands on it, and then Humphrey almost caught it off the deflection.
That's what you're supposed to do as a linebacker, is sprint to the first underneath route. And he got there, and it just hit him in the bad spot, right in the hands, and he missed that interception. It's a la Zach Johnson, but what I will say is his pass drop was exactly where it's supposed to be. You can tell this defense is well coached.
Dan Jackson bringing the corner blitz on that last play with Marshall. He was able to pop Johnson, hopping into the pile and being driven down to the turf. Again, it's off of lava. Yoder leapt right into his arms.
First team all-conference. He's just a war daddy. Look at him checking the screen to see the replay. Long hair don't care. Just out there just wreaking havoc up front, man. He's a ball of energy. Tough to block at 6'1", 290. Athletic as all get out, but his first step and the way he uses his hands is what impresses me.
Big reason these linebackers are flourishing this year for Idaho. Those 4 guys up front on that defensive line. Third down and 9, and this one broken up. Corey Thomas slid his hand around. And then a third down that comes up empty for Lehigh.
Well, they're straight man coverage. And that's the thing, he actually sat on that route. He was in phase, hip to hip, used that inside arm and got the pass break up. I think that would have been a good time to go, to check to a screen, especially when you're expecting pressure on third down. Nevertheless, you got a fourth down call here. If I'm Idaho, I'm going to send pressure and play man again. The ball has to come out quick.
Second fourth down attempt tonight, and the throw is going to be short of the first down. A diving catch is made by Humphrey, but it'll be 2 yards shy of where they needed to be, and the Idaho defense comes up with the stop. The Vandal defense continues to be the story. Lehigh comes up empty late in the third quarter from Moscow. You're watching the second round of the NCAA FCS Football Championship. Saturday night here in Moscow alongside Michigan national champion Marcus Ray, Sean Kenny. You take a look at the tough losses this year for Idaho. Heading into this weekend, those 3 teams that combined 31-2. And the one that really stands out, they battled Oregon that opening week of the season in Eugene.
24 points, only surrendered 107 rush yards. And right now, Oregon's duking it out with Penn State for the Big Ten Championship. UC Davis, that was a tough one. And then we know what happened against Montana State. And the way this is shaping up, that rematch is going to be something to see if they can maintain this 28-point lead.
Go back to October 12th in Bozeman. Montana State beat Idaho on that particular day, 38-7. And will start this drive from the 23. Lane is going to throw. He'll take a shot, and what a catch is made. My goodness, Dwyer having himself a night.
Got a little tempo coming here. Way to go up top. I mean, you heard what Coach X said. He likes to match up with their receivers against the Lehigh secondary.
Career night for Jordan Dwyer, 41 yards to the 36-yard line. Again, you take a look at this offense and what they lost from last year. Giovanni McCoy transferred to Oregon State. He started 26 games over 3 years at quarterback for Idaho. They lose Anthony Woods to the transfer portal, and then they lose 6 of their top 7 receivers. The one guy back, that guy right there in Dwyer.
I mean, that's just great hand-eye coordination. And part of the reason they went tempo there is they didn't want that play to get reviewed, but there was no need for that because that was a clean catch. And he has been a monster today on these deep balls.
This is Cummings with it, spins out of an arm tackle, and he has run hard tonight on the touches that he has been given. Just his 5th carry. Cummings with a first down run, pushed down by Andrew Worthy.
Cummings got that good balance, body control. I mean, that spin move was smooth. Offensive line did a fine job. They ran that mid zone. He had patience, got his foot up in the ground, went north and south. Picked up a good gain there.
Cummings had not carried the ball prior to tonight. You have to go back to October 26th, the Eastern Washington game. So they get a couple of their running backs healthy with Buchanan and Cummings. Now, Nate Thomas was ruled out tonight. Thomas shouldered the load last week. The South Dakota transfer rushed for 170 yards in the regular season finale against Idaho State. He is out nursing an injury. They're hoping to get him back next week.
Yeah, they've had 4 different starters. I mean, as you mentioned, they've had injuries, but they're doing it by committee. And, you know, you want to be smart about it, especially when you're trying to make a playoff run, and you want to get everybody some touches.
45-yard field goal. Cameron Pope, 15 of 20 this year. Officially, they mark it from 45. Kick is up, enough leg, but he pushed it right. Pope misfires here on his home turf, and Lehigh to get the ball back with just 37 seconds to go in this 3rd quarter.
You know, Coach Eck doesn't like that. I mean, every offensive mind wants to end every possession with a kick, but a kick like that he wants to make, especially going into, you know, talking about the next round of the playoffs potentially. You want to be firing on all cylinders, and we'll see, you know, guys make and miss kicks, but there's no weather factor in this building. You know, this is your house, and you know your spots. And Coach trusted them to take a stab at it right there when they easily could have went for it.
Last 2 possessions for Lehigh have ended with an interception and a failed 4th down as Jaden Green weaves his way up to the 33-yard line. Larmon brings him down. Let's see if the Mountain Hawks want to get one more play off before the end of this quarter. Second down, right back to the ground with Green, looking for the cutback. Wrapped up by Marshall, and that's going to be the end of the 3rd quarter. Idaho inching a little bit closer to a quarterfinal date with Big Sky foe Montana State. This passing offense has been dominating, the defense doing their thing. The touchdown run by Buchanan, the pick six by Johnson. All Idaho as we march to the fourth. All top 7 seeds have advanced into next weekend's quarterfinals. Will it be 8 for 8 with the 8 seed Idaho in control as they hope to have a Big Sky rematch with the top seed, top-ranked Montana State squad in Bozeman next weekend. Alongside Marcus Ray, Sean Kinney, welcome you back inside D1 FCU-Kibbie Dome, all Idaho, as we start quarter number 4. 3rd and 4 for the true freshman Hayden Johnson. Back shoulder throw. Humphrey is there, makes the catch. Beat Trujillo. Humphrey starting to pick up some catches in the second half.
That's a good decision there versus that press coverage to the short side boundary, the back shoulder fade. It's really hard to defend. And I think that's something they probably could have worked on all day. I mean, you start to figure it out late, and hindsight gets 20/20, but that was a good throw and catch.
22 yards for Humphrey, 6 catches now, 98 yards for the sophomore from Loganville, Georgia. Now Johnson uncorks, a lot of contact downfield, and here comes the flag. Marshall got his hands up. Again, they just continue to target Mason Humphrey, and now another flag comes in real late. Some jawing back and forth with Humphrey and Marshall.
They like that one-on-one. I mean, versus both corners. I mean, Humphrey's kind of heating up a little bit, drawing contact and catching
No foul was a play for pass interference if the ball was tipped. It's a during the play, incomplete pass. 2nd down.
Ball was tipped at let's see, right here at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Malachi Williams, tough to see. They're saying Williams got just enough of it. Another graduate that went through the
Ruling on the field, said the pass was tipped. It's now under review.
So yeah, not surprised that they're going to go upstairs after we saw it initially with our first review of it. Not an obvious deflection, so they're going to go upstairs and take multiple looks at it now, but it was Malachi Williams who got his hand close to Hayden Johnson, and as we have documented today, Williams, one of 9 Idaho football players who were part of the graduation ceremonies earlier this morning.
Now let's be clear, if they find out this ball didn't get tipped and the pass interference stands, look at the hand work there though by Williams. I just don't think that the ball got tipped. I mean, why? Because the trajectory of the pass still went down the field. Tip balls tend to fall a little short. But that there, he may have got a piece of the arm on the follow through, but to get a piece of the ball, that's a tough. Ball is higher than the hand.
If the call is overturned, Lehigh will have it 1st down at the Idaho 29-yard line.
I just don't. That's gonna be. It's just conclusive is what it comes down to overturn the call on the field. But it seems like the pass never got affected because it just actually made it to Mason Humphrey.
Malachi Williams talked about going through the graduation earlier this morning. He's the oldest of 8 kids in the family, and you go back to senior night a few weeks ago. His parents live in Arizona, Gilbert, Arizona. Their plane got delayed and then eventually canceled, so they had to drive overnight to make it to senior night festivities and be a part of it for their son Malachi.
Gang's all here. It'll be interesting to see, man, what they come up with here. But I really like watching Lehigh attack the one-on-one matchup with Mason Humphrey, regardless if it's on Marshall or Trujillo.
Now, what has Idaho done defensively in the secondary to take out Jay Meal, the explosive slot that has had a remarkable season for the Mountain Hawks?
That's a good question. So, like, when you play a slot receiver and you stay in what's called cover 4, remember when we asked...
As we review, the room in the field of a tip pass stands. Result of play, second down.
So we talked to Coach Eck about what coverage they were going to play, and he said cover 4. And when that happens is that you get an ankle back staying over top the slot with a guy behind him, but right there.
Yep, that center judge coming in with that tip.
Yeah, so they went ahead and reviewed it, stands. But like you said, if you look at the screen at the top and on the hash mark, there's Jay Meal. He's going to have a nickel back in front and a guy over top, and that's the safety, and that's part of the reason that bracket has been all over him today.
Jay Meal, 1 catch for 9 yards. Second down and 10 at the 44. Johnson will keep it as he had to rip it out of the gut of his running back that time, Jaden Green. Good read by Johnson. Sets up a manageable 3rd down as he runs for 6.
Nice job there triggering on the back end by the secondary of the Vandals, because that play could have went a lot further. They give you that triple option kind of feel. The pitch man is out there running that bubble sweep.
Jay Meal and Humphrey to the right. Davino and Harden to the bottom, and they will stay on the ground, and a 4th down coming up. Jakari Larmond along with Krotzer in there for this Idaho defense, and now the freshman Green laboring as he winces in discomfort, holding his shoulder.
That was a good downhill run, though. I'd come back to that, and if I was Hayden Johnson, I'd put him in a position where he's reading that play where he could pull it.
Lehigh 0 for 2 on 4th downs. Johnson moves the pocket, throws into a tight window, and a flag comes in. Multiple flags. Looked like they got to Humphrey a little bit early, Dwayne McDougal. And for the 2nd time tonight, Lehigh keeps the drive alive with the flag.
Defense, automatic, 1st down.
Yeah, he got there prematurely. I'm not even sure if Humphrey was going to catch that pass. A little sprint out pass action. High load the corner and the safety with the quick out and the deeper out. Just got there a little prematurely.
Well, one thing for certain, Hayden Johnson has been locked in on number 82 in this 2nd half.
This time they put Jay Meal to the boundary side with the one-on-one matchup. Don't be surprised if he gets that football.
One-on-one with Trujillo. Dumping it off, and then Yoder blew a gasket just as he was getting ready to make a move. Marshall in the vicinity. Good news, Jaden Green able to get back out there as he replaces Yoder on this 2nd down.
Well, let's take a look at the Vandals defense here now that we're approaching the red zone. They've only given up 6 points. Tip your cap, 2 field goals, 1 late at the end of the 2nd quarter, and as that grass and that field gets shorter, those passing windows kind of collapse.
James Newby already with a sack tonight. Little run defense here, and it's been tough chugging in between the tackles. Not much, maybe a yard. Dylan Lane, the sophomore.
That was a great field by Dylan Lane. Look at 21 scrape. Yeah, I mean, that's called scratching and scraping in between the tackles. And note, he is the quarterback, Jack Lane's brother. Young man getting some snaps behind Zach Johnson.
One of 3 sets of brothers on this Idaho roster this year. 3rd down and 9. Play clock down to 3, down to 2. Johnson looking left all the way, fires, and it's caught. Davino, one true freshman hooking up with another first year, and Lehigh has it 1st and goal.
That's how you know this young man understands coverage. Just look to the left of your screen. Good route combination there. And he found the grass right in between the corner and the wheel linebacker, the weak side backer. They flared the running back out to create some more space. This young man here is going to be a good one before it's all said and done. And that throw right there tells me he understands defensive coverage.
12 personnel, a running back and 2 tight ends. First and goal, Lehigh. 2 receivers to the right. This will be Green. Jakari Larman. Again, if you're going to go deep in these FCS playoffs, you have to have depth on both lines. And Idaho certainly has it on this defensive front.
Yeah, they really do, and they understand their responsibility. So as you see there, they had defensive ends squatting, squeezing, maintaining gap integrity. Because they know that you play a team like this, the quarterback can pull it. It's option football.
Offensive coordinator Dan Hunt keeps the 2 tight ends out there. Second down. Johnson's been effective moving the pocket, looking for that throwback, and he tried to hit one of those tight ends, but Stahl sits, unable to make the grab. He does not have a catch this season. Cahill now looking at 3rd and goal. Trujillo in the vicinity, and you see the look from the faithful who have made the journey from Bethlehem.
Well, that's what the dangerous throw is, right in coverage. You see the big fella drop. big Larman on the zone blitz. The deep tackle dropped into coverage. Almost got him one. Stolzitz couldn't hold on to it.
They replaced the 2 tight ends with Harden and Davino. 4 receivers set, looking for Humphrey, but blanket coverage. Well done by Trujillo. You know, we talked about the losses offensively. Keep in mind, defensively for Idaho, both of their starting corners from last year transferred to Power 4 teams. Trujillo was a huge find.
Definitely, and they played well all season. Marshall, first team all conference. Trujillo, good compliment. They also lost 2 out of their 3 linebackers from last year too. So they've been able to plug and play, man, and have a very successful year, looking for that 10th win.
4th and goal. Johnson throws, knocked away, and Idaho comes up with the goal line stand.
Pass is a turnover on downs. First down, Idaho, timeout on the field.
Dylan Lane got a hand on it. They were looking for Humphrey. The Vandals on their way to Bozeman. One of the unique environments in all of college football can be found right here in Moscow. The Kibbie Dome, constructed back in 1971. The construction work was completed in 1975, and it's only fitting that it was constructed of Idaho engineered wood products, the only facility in the country for football that is constructed primarily with wood. The roof stands 400 feet. That's roughly 12 stories from the center of the field. Beautiful facility. And what Jason Eck has done with this program, consistent football in the month of December, which means you're playing for an FCS championship. Construction beginning back in 1971. You know, I remember a conversation I had with Sonny Dykes. He brought his Louisiana Tech team here back in the early 2010-11 season. 8,000 people, he said, sounded like 80,000. The acoustics of this venue, incredible down on the field level.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a state-of-the-art, unique kind of place to play.
Coming in from the west, you can see it from miles away, hovering above the University of Idaho, glittering especially on these evening games. It has certainly been the palace for Vandals football throughout the years. And they're going to have to leave their home if nothing changes in this 4th quarter and try to figure out a way to win one on the road next week at Bozeman.
Yeah, looks like, you know, going undefeated at home this year, first time since '96. I mean, they're checking a lot of boxes. That man there, Coach Eck, people he's brought in, type of kids and coaches, really got a good thing going.
Art Williams getting his first touches of the night. Williams picks up the first down, a gain of 3. Yeah, they talked about this, kind of labeled it a legacy game. The fact that you mentioned the chance to go unbeaten here at home, and also an opportunity for just the 3rd time in program history to hit double-digit wins.
Man, I'm telling you, I mean, when you're really trying to build that type of culture and win a championship, I think you have to hit some of those milestones first. You have to check some of those boxes. The first time since this, first time since that. Next thing you know, you put all that together and then you're fighting it out for a championship.
Using all of the play clock as they hand it off to Williams. You look at Jason Eck and his experience. He was on the South Dakota State staff for 6 years, worked side by side with one of the best in the business, and John Stiglmeyer with the Jackrabbits. Had an opportunity to walk on and play for Barry Alvarez. 2 instrumental coaches as far as his development and how he wants to run a program.
Yeah, and you see he was the OC there, 19 to 21. FCS Assistant Coach of the Year. I mean, he knows ball. You know, it's funny, you know, being a former offensive lineman, you start dialing up plays and they think you want to run the ball all the time. You watch offensive line coach dial up deep balls.
Near side throw, Dwyer with another catch. Look at what Dwyer has done over the last couple of games. Now 300 yards receiving. The win against Idaho State a couple of weeks ago in the regular season finale, and you see who he's tapping on the helmet there, his offensive line. We were just talking about the line and exposition back in his day, and yeah, look at this. The last 2 games for Jordan Dwyer, an offense that lost Jermaine Jackson to the NFL. Hayden Hatton now part of the Canadian Football League. Therese Traynor hit the transfer portal last year to Charlotte. Dwyer has stepped up and he has been the guy.
Yeah, he's putting up numbers, man, and I really like this system. I mean, you talk about Jason Eck and all the coaches on offense, you know, Luke and those guys. I mean, they put together a system where they're going to make you respect the run and they'll throw it over your head. So they don't really like to drop back and just wing it, throw it all over the yard, play basketball on grass. So their passing game has to have 2 guys that can take you up top and keep you honest enough with some intermediate throws off the RPO as well.
2nd down, once again, it's Art Williams lowering the pad level. Brought down by Jaden Nelson. And Marcus, you look at Lehigh and you have to ask the question, what could have been? Matt Spatney, one of the best disruptors on the defensive side of the football in the FCS, injured last week. They lose Tyler Ohoyski last week as well, late in the win against Richmond. Mike DiNucci a couple of weeks ago, their star linebacker. And then early on in this game, they lose their first team all-conference player and center George Patterson. Just the injury bug hit this team at the wrong time.
It did. I mean, and it's tough. It's a long season, and a lot of times when you look at the teams that advance, it's not really about who's better than who. It's about who's healthy.
So
you
true.
know? I mean, who has their full, you know, alignment of players. I mean, you look at the MAC championship today. Ohio U ran it up on Miami 38-3, and the first time they played in the season, OU was missing 6 or 7 guys. But when it comes to this time of the season and you don't have your guys, it's just really, you're a different football team.
Haven't seen a lot of LJ Harm tonight, just his 2nd punt of the night. Peltekian awaiting the kick back at his 30. End over end, shallow kick, but blazing coverage by Idaho. The Vandals downfield, McDougal. Great job there by McDougal. Idaho a little more than 4 minutes away from putting this one in the books. Special teams getting into the act here from Moscow. It's V Week at ESPN when we partner with the V Foundation to highlight the urgent need for cancer research. This is game-changing research that helps save lives. You can join the fight against cancer by visiting v.org/donate. 100% of your donation goes directly to cancer research. There is George Patizan, the fifth-year senior and center. I had a chance to talk with him earlier in the week, and this is a veteran lineman coming back from a serious injury a year ago. He tore his ACL in the season opener against Villanova. Had surgery 6 weeks after the injury, missed all the spring ball, built up his strength in fall camp. Was having a phenomenal year. The relationship he's built with TJ Burke, the nose guard for Lehigh. Those two just really making each other better. They both made a pact coming into the season. They felt disrespected in the Patriot, never earning an all-conference honor up until this year. And boy, they both hit the scene, and they did not leave any doubt by their performance, both earning first-team All-Patriot selections.
Yeah, they call him their steady rock. And they said this offensive line has become the physical leaders of the football team. And they had a great year. Their last 4 games, they ran it for over 200. I mean, they really, 19 straight, make it 20 with 100 yards rushing.
New quarterback in there is Dante Perry. Perry, the most experienced signal caller, able to pick up the first down, pushed out by Dylan Lane. You go back as a whole, though, Marcus, how refreshing is it to have Lehigh football back? This was a football mainstay for so many years. You go through some of the coaches, Kevin Higgins, Pete Limbo, Andy Cohen, and now the job that Kevin Cahill has done, and just a remarkable job, but an area rich in high school football talent, the Lehigh Valley area, and that great rivalry with Lehigh and Lafayette. Aaron Crossley can't find any running room. Loss of the yards, 2nd and 11.
Yeah, it's definitely good to see Lehigh back doing their thing. I mean, just talk about their coaching job. 2-9, 9-3 coming into this game. That's huge. I mean, that is not your average turnaround, and it doesn't normally happen that fast either. So tip your cap to Coach Cahill, and those guys fought tooth and nail. Had a great comeback last week. A lot to build on in the offseason with recruiting, with this young team coming back.
Perry swings it out near side. It will be a minimal gain. Connor Hilling with the catch up to the 41. And we asked Cahill, how did you get it turned around so quickly? And without any hesitation, he came back and he said it was the buy-in by our veteran players, the 4th and 5th years. Players such as Dante Perry, who's in there now at quarterback. 2-minute timeout here from Moscow. The Vandals putting the finishing touches on this one. All Idaho here. The year was 1977, the Pioneer Bowl and the Division II National Championship. Mike Riker leading Lehigh to the 33-0 win over Jacksonville State. The game played in Wichita Falls, Texas. The Mountain Hawks pitched the shutout. John Whitehead, who coached 18 years on South Mountain, one of those legendary coaches with this Lehigh program throughout the years. And Kevin Cahill doing his part to reestablish that long-standing tradition. Ironically, Marcus, 2 years later, Lehigh went on to win the 1AA championship.
Oh, yeah, they were rolling now. They put it on you in them late 70s, and I'll tell you what, Coach Cahill, Patriot League Coach of the Year, trying to bring some of that mojo back.
Eddie Robinson, Coach of the Year finalist as well. There is Jay Meal finding a rare opening in the secondary. He'll take it to the Idaho 15. Second catch of the night for the explosive slot, Jeffrey J. Meal.
That was a good read there by Perry. Moving his feet, throwing it on a rope right down the hash, and that's how you beat single high coverage. Single high just means one safety in the middle, and you throw it too vertical down that hash. Puts that safety in the bind. That's a good call.
Good throw by Dante Perry. Keep in mind, Perry started the season as the #1 quarterback. Earned his degree in April. Fires underneath. Jamil with another catch. Tackled at the 10-yard line. Jeffrey Jamil told us he plays with a chip on his shoulder. One of the reasons he chose Lehigh is they never asked him to run a 40 or send in his height or weight. They just relied on his high school film. Made the decision his junior year he wanted to be a part of it.
6'3", 205. I'm sure he checked those boxes too.
Second down and short. Toward the front of the end zone. Jamil the catch, trying to stretch it ahead, and they'll be 2 yards shy. So 3 straight catches for the junior out of the Massachusetts area. 9 more yards. Lehigh trying to find the end zone for the first time late.
Yeah, you want to finish this on a high note, try to get in there. And I mean, if you're Idaho, you know, it doesn't mean much, but you still want to finish the game hard. But I really like what Perry's done since he came in.
True freshman Aaron Crossley into the game. He's the running back to the right of Perry. And it will be Perry keeping it. And the 5th year finds his way into the end zone for the touchdown. Lehigh with the late 6.
Had that feeling that play was coming. Where I thought they was going to run it a little more with Hayden Johnson. In the zone read there. They collapsed. Well, option football, quarterback has the ability to keep it. Lowered his head, the graduate senior, to finish the game.
Second rushing touchdown this season for Perry. Earned his bachelor degree in finance, now pursuing graduate work. Point after is up and through for Garrido. One final timeout. Lehigh and Dante Perry into the end zone. Vandals. There was only one person who was going to carry that football on that last play for Lehigh, and that was their 5th year, Dante Perry. And some emotion during the commercial break along that Lehigh sideline. He was greeted with a big smile from his coach, Kevin Cahill. Perry sending some love back home to Bethlehem. It's all about relationships. That's what makes this sport so wonderful. And Dante Perry buying in to what Kevin Cahill brought to this program and rewarded with the late touchdown.
And they had a great year. You gotta understand, Patriot League champions, coach of the year, second best turnaround in all of FCS this year behind Stony Brook. So they have nothing to hang their hat about. They played banged up. They were missing a lot of guys. They didn't make any excuses. And this actually was a game for about a quarter and a half, almost to a half, where this thing was still manageable and got away from them a little bit. But, you know, they're going to take that trip home. But, man, they had a great year. I'll tell you right now, they checked a lot of boxes and turned a lot of heads.
They had to recalibrate their goals heading into the postseason. They set out the goal of winning the Patriot, check mark. They did that in the rivalry, and then they had the goal of making the playoffs. They earned that check with the automatic entry, winning the Patriot Conference. So successful run for Kevin Cahill, but it will come to an end here in the Inland Northwest. And Jason Eck and Idaho with an opportunity to get back into the quarterfinals. You go back to last year, they lost in that round here inside the Kibbie Dome. His wife Kimberly very happy. She will be making the road trip to Bozeman next week. One more snap and handoff, and this should be it for Idaho. On a night that saw the Vandals put up 410 yards of offense, Jack Lane throws for 318, 3 touchdowns. They get their running backs healthy as well. You just hate to see this late. Some emotions boiling over as the two benches separate. Man, we've seen enough of this over the last couple of weeks. Thank goodness there's no flag tonight. But man, these end-of-game situations, and good job there by both coaching staffs just to make sure things don't get out of hand.
Yeah, I'm not always a big fan of shaking hands after the game, especially one that ends your season. It's good sportsmanship, but I'll tell you what, it also is high risk.
Idaho becomes the third Big Sky program to move into next weekend's quarterfinals. They join UC Davis, who hammered Illinois State earlier today, and they will face Montana State for the second time this season.
Take a look at that bracket there.
They are complete. And how about this? One of those years where the seeds hold true to form. 1 through 8, all advancing into the quarterfinals. UC Davis will have to go on the road to Vermillion to take on South Dakota. And Idaho gets the opportunity that they wanted, a rematch with Montana State next week in Bozeman. Coach Jason Eck joins us. First off, Coach, a win in the month of December has to feel good here inside the Kibbie Dome.
Proud of our guys, man. This is our first time going undefeated at home since 1996. First time we've hit double-digit wins at Idaho, getting to 10 wins since 1993. So proud of these teams. This team's doing great things, and proud of these guys. And got a great challenge ahead of us because this team beat the brakes off us last time. So we got a tall mountain to climb this week.
Coach, you guys played complimentary football. You got it done on offense. Your defense played extremely well. Then you got the big punt return. Coach, talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, that was huge. We got a little momentum with that punt return to score before the half, and then it was big in the to start the second half to go down and score on offense right away. The first series, their defense gets a pick six and put them away. So proud of our guys. Thought it was a great effort. A lot of good fourth down stops on defense.
What has to change now next week? You go back to your October 12th game in Bozeman. You lose 38-7. What's the key in this second go-around?
Well, we got to stop their running game, man. They ran the ball consistently, and we got to be more efficient on offense. So we got to play a whole lot better than we did in October.
Jason, we'll let you enjoy this. Best of luck next week.
Thanks, guys. V's up.
All right, Coach.
Convincing win for Idaho. This was one of those years the Big Sky had circled. Can they change the tide? The Missouri Valley Football Conference has dominated in recent years. Will this be the year the Big Sky crowns a champion?
Well, they have to match the physicality. And I think if they're able to stop the run, don't give up any big plays, win the turnover battle, and find a way to hit some big explosives like they did today. But like you said, he scored on defense. He had a good punt return. They were able to get some explosives. So I think it's going to be a much different ball game than we saw a couple of months ago. This team is very hungry.
An unbeaten home campaign here for the Idaho Vandals. Victorious tonight in the second round, 34-13. They pick up their 10th win of the season. Lehigh closes out with a mark of 9-4. Once again, your final from Moscow. Idaho 34, Lehigh 13. For Marcus Ray and our entire broadcast crew, I'm Sean Kenny. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Good night from Moscow.